Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and potentially even good evening. Welcome to today's webinar hosted by ourselves, nShift, alongside our partners, Prime Horizon Group. The purpose of the webinar today is to showcase the work that Prime Horizon have done to connect Blue Yonder WMS with the nShift delivery solution to create that streamlined, seamless supply chain. Before we start, just a little bit of housekeeping. There will be a Q&A session at the end of this presentation. So if you have any questions throughout, please do pop them into the chat and we'll try to get across as many as we can in the time allowed. In terms of the agenda today, we are going to start off with a little introduction to nShift, to Prime Horizon, and to the integration in general, before diving into a demo to look at the integration in more detail and how that can benefit BY users. And as I mentioned as well, we'll end with an interactive Q&A. So as I said, please do pop your questions in. To take us and you on this voyage of discovery, I am joined by a star-studded lineup of experts. My colleague, Ash Luca from Prime Horizon. We have Andy Watling, Dan Hayward, and Javier will be helping with the demo. So to start off with, just an introduction into nShift. Who are nShift? nShift are the leaders in delivery and experience management, helping brands, retailers, customers of all shapes and sizes connect to our network of over 1,000 carriers, creating a seamless delivery operation that provides their customers with an experience that promotes both loyalty and, more importantly, repeat purchases. Built on that network and our 20 plus years in the industry are our solutions that help at every stage of an order's journey, from the checkout, where we're able to showcase delivery options at that point of sale, dispatch, picking the right carrier at the right time for the right order, tracking, ensuring that end consumers are kept up to date as their delivery progresses, and returns for those situations where an item needs to be sent back. Ably supported by our team set across Europe, we are helping our customers succeed in both their local and global arenas. That was a very, very brief introduction to nShift. And I'll now hand over to Dan to provide another introduction to Prime Horizon Group. Dan, please take it away.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, so a very brief overview of Prime Horizon, PHG, what we do. Some people on the call are probably very familiar, but for the ones that aren't, we are a Blue Yonder consulting partner, specifically in the WMS space. We implement their products. We also resell their software. We're approaching, I think it's our 7th year now, nearly 7 years old. And over the course of those 7 years, we've really supported customers globally, really, in solution design, configuration, integration, testing, training, and also the support once the customers are live with the WMS product. We're obviously based in the UK. Our head office is in Coventry. We do have branches globally, so we've got branches in Spain, where Xavi is today. We've got a branch in Poland, and then we've got a branch in the Philippines, which is our hub for our support offering. We've got many partners. Obviously, nShift are one of them. We're delighted to be working with these guys today to bring you the content of this webinar. We also partner with Cycle Labs, Test Automation. We have partners in the AI space and the recruitment space. And as I say, the partnership with nShift really does give us an opportunity to promote the best in class in customer solutions around the carrier side of things, and yeah, it's an honor to be with them today on this webinar. Andy, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. So what I wanted to cover on this slide was just a bit of an introduction really into the use case, the backbone really of what we want to show today. So we're going to start with looking at Blue Yonder. So we're going to actually take us through picking a very simple scenario where we're going to pick a 2-line sales order. And then what we're going to do is going to drop that to a packing bench, and we're going to pack the inventory into a case. Blue Yonder's going to select the case for us using its cartonization logic. But where it gets interesting, and this will be the background activities where we start to see the added value here, because it's at that point we'll be making a call to nShift to inform them that we've got a consignment and we need them to go away and talk to the carrier. So what nShift will do is use its capability at that point to go away, arrange and retrieve a tracking number for us, provide us with the label information, and then send that information back into Blue Yonder to enable us to proceed, generate a label, store the tracking number as well. And then obviously the final point here is the important part where nShift will then be able to talk to the carrier, and I say the carrier, but this is a really important part, is nShift has 1,000+ carriers that it's integrated to. So you can imagine the flexibility that gives us here in terms of being able to be connected to a global network of carriers here to talk to them and provide them with the carrier and consignment information and the manifest and so on. So we're going to walk you through that with a demo Blue Yonder. We're going to sort of see parts of nShift as part of that as well, so we can see the data being exchanged and so on. And hopefully that will bring it to life for us. But before we get into that, I'm going to hand over to Ash at nShift to take us through a bit more about nShift's capability.
Brilliant. Thanks, Andy. Okay, great. So what we're looking at here, everybody, is the nShift portal. So this is kind of where you can set everything up and use the nShift platform in a way to configure your carriers correctly, your services correctly. You can even interrogate individual orders to see where they are in the delivery journey, and if there's any reasons why you might need to contact customers and review things like carrier performance as well. But to Andy's point, as a day-to-day user dispatching orders, you don't really need to log into here. That will all happen seamlessly within Blue Yonder, which you'll see in the next part of the demonstration. This is more about how you can sort of manage the overarching view of your carrier setup, essentially. So when you log in to the portal, based on what different modules you are using within nShift, you will have access to go through to each one of those and sort of manage and configure them, basically. So today we're going to focus very much on the ship part with a little bit of track sprinkled in. And the shipping piece here, this is all about talking to Blue Yonder and providing the right carrier label for the right order at the right time. So one of the first things we will need to look at when we come to configuring our setup on nShift to power those different carrier labels is within our sort of configuration area. So firstly, if you wanted to, you could create a manual label in here at any point in time. If you needed to reprint something as well, you could come in here, find the order and reprint it. But this is just a nice sort of tool for you to send any stock to, say, partners or marketing or any other channels that you just need to send something ad hoc to. When it comes to setting up the overall sort of infrastructure around your shipping environment, the first thing we need to look at is what locations you wish to ship from. So you could ship from one warehouse or multiple warehouses, or even from store locations as well. And so you would set each one of those ship from locations up in here as an actor or a location. So firstly, just to give you an example, I've got a ship demo location here. And so I can see from my warehouse that I've got these 5 carriers set up from Every right down to Royal Mail. And that essentially means if Blue Yonder says, can we have a label? Actually, we can get one from these carriers that are configured in here as well. If I want to, at any point in time, I can press new and add new carriers. One of the great things about the platform is that you can self-serve these types of things rather than needing to rely on like a large IT project each time. And equally, I can drill down into the individual carrier and look at the level of services that we have available as well. So I can see here for DPD, we've got 75 services that are in use, 18 that are potentially available as well. And I could even see that across sort of domestic and international services. Similar to adding a new carrier, if I wanted to add new services, I can press new and I can choose the different services that I wish to add to my setup. This essentially means when Blue Yonder says, right, nShift, we need a label, these services will now be possible for us to produce a label for you. Once you've got your location set up and you've got your carriers and their services set up, the actual way in which a label is generated is based on something called the shipping rules. So when Blue Yonder makes a call to nShift to ask for that label, it can firstly tell us, okay, nShift, I need a Royal Mail 24 label. And we'll say, yep, cool. And we'll send that straight back. It might actually be a case where you say, right, nShift, we have got order number 123. It's going from location A to the customer's address at location B. It's these products, it's this customer type. Please tell us what the best carrier service is to put this shipment on. And we'll use the shipping rules here automatically to decide what that carrier service is going to be. So you can configure these rules yourself, which obviously we would help and train your team to do. You can configure them by location that we saw earlier. So you may want different rules based on shops or warehouses. You can see your existing rules that you've started to create but not yet published. And you can also see the rules that you have published, marked here with this sort of green icon to say, right, well, when labels are printing in our warehouse, this is the set of rules that's determining what's printing. So if I ever needed to double check something, I can come in and edit these rules to review what's happened there. I can see who published them and when they published them. Just to give you a quick glimpse of these rules and what you can do, there's a huge amount of variation in here based on all the different data points that Primerize and capture and send to nShift via Blue Yonder. And so I can say, for example, for a standard delivery proposition, I've got two carriers potentially in scope, Every and DPD. I can then set a number of conditions against each carrier to determine why one should be chosen. That could be anything across the goods line, the receiver, the sender, and each one of these has a whole host of individual data points as well. So to keep it quite simple, I've said here, everything up to 5 kilograms is going to go with Every. However, what we can see within the nShift platform is things around carrier performance, SLA performance, performance versus our customer promises. And we can start to learn about which carriers do better for us in which areas. And through that, we may have learned perhaps DPD here have a slightly better service to the area of Bristol. So I would like to push my Bristol orders towards DPD. So I've got two very sort of straightforward rules set up there. What could actually happen is both those rules become applicable. So it could be 3 kilograms going to Bristol. So then the system needs to determine why we choose one of them. And that's how we allocate. So we can allocate via choose the cheapest price, choose the quickest, choose base it on our volumes that we've got to meet with the individual carriers, or we could even distribute the volume as well. So here I've just set up an example where I've given Every 68% and DPD 32%. This is great because if there are, say, issues in the network or a peak load of orders comes in and you know one of your carriers might struggle to handle your demand, or you need to add a new carrier and give them more volume, you can simply come in here and change these sliders very quickly on and off. And once you publish this, Blue Yonder will be updated automatically, and the very next label that prints will adhere to these sets of rules. So in this point, we're able to now print labels. We've got everything set up we need to. So I'll pass back to the Primerize team, who are going to take you through how you actually do that within the Blue Yonder tool.
Fantastic. Yeah, thanks, Ash. Okay, so I'm going to be assisted on this demo by Xavi, and Xavi's going to start by sharing his Blue Yonder screen. So if we just go back to that use case that I highlighted earlier, we're going to start by picking an order that's got 2 lines on it. We're going to use work assignment picking, or list picking, as it's sometimes known, and we're going to be picking that through a mobile device. So the screen we've got on at the moment is one of the Blue Yonder main web screen, and we've got the order to a point where it's been planned into a wave. That wave has been allocated and the picking tasks have been created. Okay, and what we're currently seeing is an example of a web RDT screen. So this is what the user is going to be using, and I'm familiar that many of the people on the call will be Blue Yonder users, as well as some that aren't. So hopefully this is familiar to some of you guys on the call today. Okay, so Xavi's going to initiate his pick. He's just going to confirm the handling unit type he's picking onto. In this case, it's a trolley, and he's going to provide a license plate number for that trolley that he's going to be picking onto today. And then he's going to be given his first location to go to pick his first item. So he's going to go to A03A03, and he's going to confirm the license plate he's picking from, and he's confirming the item number. And he's just going to confirm the item number there. There we go. He's confirming he's picking a quantity of 1 each. He's popping that into his trolley, and then he's going to go and pick his next location. He's going to pick his next item. So he's confirming his item number once again, the quantity and the unit of measure. And at this point, he's getting a message saying his list pick's completed. So Xavi's now going to be directed to go to his packing bench, which is location pack 01. He's going to scan that location to deposit the pick goods to the pack bench. And at this point, the picking part of the demo is now completed. We can see that all the inventory on that pick has been deposited to pack 01. So Xavi's now going to go over to his packing screen, and he's going to scan the license plate number that he's picked the inventory into to initiate the packing process. And we can see we've got the 2 lines there, the 2 item numbers that he's picked. So Xavi's going to confirm the first item that he wants to pack. And if we just look in the top right-hand corner of this screen, we can see that Blue Yonder selected the box type that we need to pack these goods into. So if you envisage a packing desk with multiple different flat pack boxes, so you need to pick a small box to go and pop these items into. So Xavi's going to doing that as we speak. And he's just going to do his second item now to pack that. We can see the status bar at 50% at the moment. Once we've confirmed that, that's the order now picked. It's now packed. And it's at this point now that we have made the call in the background seamlessly and instantaneously to nShift to go and make that call to say, we need you to please provide us with the tracking number and label information. So Xavi's just gone into the parcel audit log screen, and here we can see we've got the exchange of messages that's in here as well. And we can see, if we look down, we can see some of that message content, as well as the parcel identifier information that's in there. Okay, and what we'll do now is we'll just flick over to the nShift portal. And again, in the real world, we wouldn't do this. Going back to Ash's point, this would all be handled in the background, but just for the purposes of this demonstration, we can see the consignment that we've now created within nShift, and we can have a look at some of the details that we've sent them and how it appears in the portal. Okay, so we can see we've got a package number there, so a consignment number that's been created for us, and we'll just drill into that, and we can see that the carrier is DHL. So we know in this instance that DHL is a tracked, it's going to be a tracked shipment, and we can also see we've got the receiver, so the ship to address that's in there as well. Okay, so once again, yeah, we can see the package ID, effectively the tracking number that has been provided to us, and we can drill into the shipment as well, and that gives us the track and trace information that we can use as well should we want to track the parcel through the carrier's front end. Now, if we look into the detail section, yeah, this bit's quite interesting because we can view the content as well. So we can send the item information, we can send things like the price or the value. Sometimes that might be needed for insurance purposes or whatever. And this bit's quite important because there's a whole range of fields that we can send to nShift to then provide to the carrier, whether that's used to make a carrier determination or whether it's used for insurance purposes or reporting purposes as well. So we've just kept it quite lightweight for this demo. You see the price, the currency, the quantity, the country of origin as well. Okay. So if we go back into Blue Yonder now, Xavi's just refreshing his screen, and we can see when we look at the picked inventory, we can now see that we've got a tracking number that's come back to us, again, pretty much in real time or as close as it can be from nShift there. So that means that we've now got that link within Blue Yonder as well, so we can go and look that inventory up, and we can see the tracking label that's been, or information that's been provided to us. Okay, and we've got a label information that's been sent to us as well. So from the ZPL that's been sent back to us from nShift, we're able to see an example of what the label could look like. Okay, so that pretty much includes what we wanted to show from the Blue Yonder side of things. I'm just going to hand back to Ash now to take us forward.
Brilliant. Thanks, Andy. Okay, great. So yeah, so the label's generated now. So it's being attached to the parcel and it's ready to go to the carrier. One of the sort of next things the platform nShift will then do for you is actually submit all that information over to the carrier as well. So that's called manifesting essentially, or you might know it's like an end of day process. A lot of carriers are moving more and more towards API-based integrations, which actually means the manifest has automatically happened when we've booked the label. But for some other carriers, they still rely on EDI integrations. And so we have to send them all the data of all the different labels that have been generated on a particular day to tell them what parcels they're going to be collecting so they can scan them and then they'll successfully go through their network. And so you can automate that through the platform. You can set up like a schedule for different carriers on different days at different times. So you don't need to do anything each day. It will just happen automatically for you. If you wish, you can come in and transmit manually to carriers, and you can also prompt it via API as well. But typically a schedule works best because you can edit that as you perhaps make new agreements with carriers around your collection times as well. If you want to, you can then see every single manifest that's happened over a period of time. You can drill down into each order that's associated to that manifest. And as Andy saw, you can also click into wherever you see an order and the customer information, you can click into it and see the journey that it's going on towards the customer's end delivery point. To help you sort of facilitate more successful deliveries and get the best out of your carrier setup, we also provide like a lot of reporting that you can use. So you can serve that for yourself in the platform here, as we're doing now, or you could have all that information passed into your Blue Yonder environment around the latest status of an individual order. But equally, you could have all the information sent, say, to a BI tool that you might use as well. And both of our sort of sets of reports focus on two areas. So we've got track and trace. This is all about what's happening with our deliveries, manage them to make them as sort of as successful as possible for your customers. So it's kind of in-flight stuff. And we've also got insights. So this is all about carrier performance, trends, looking at their performance versus their SLAs, your performance versus the promise you gave to customers, or to understand actually over a period of time, what are we doing well and what aren't we doing as well as we could do, and what changes should we make in our shipping rules to try and improve our service overall. One of the reports I like to just call out quickly is this kind of radar report. You might know sort of exception reporting, so similar to that. And you can see here all of our orders that are in the network going to customers, what their current status is. And I've kind of filtered this on exceptions. So I can see here I've got a load of orders that are being returned to sender for some reason. It could be that they were delayed or lost or damaged, and you would see that status here. And again, you can then drill down into the individual order to find out what might have happened in the journey to cause that, and then proactively reach out to your customer and to the carrier, rather than waiting for your customers to come back to you and say, oh, I haven't got my delivery, where is it? And then you look at it. This allows you to be on the front foot and be much more proactive about the way in which you serve your customers. And that sort of feeds back to the experience management part of the platform that Mark introduced at the beginning of the webinar. And then around sort of performance of carriers and your own SLAs that you're giving to consumers, there's a number of different reports in here as well. Just to show you one quickly, here's an example of carrier performance. We can see across our carriers who's been delivering on time, who's been delivering late, and who's been delivering early, because sometimes early is just as bad because we're not at home, we're not expecting it. We could miss that delivery just as if it was late as well. And then you can hover over and see each bucket of orders that are in that situation, click onto those, have a look at them, and try and understand what might be causing it, what you need to change in your allocation logic to try and minimize this going forward as well. And then on top of kind of how you help your customers have a sort of better experience, you can also set up sort of branded engagements with the consumer. So here we've got an example of how we could set up and manage within the platform a branded track and trace page. So rather than sending customers to the carrier's website, why not send them to a page that's controlled by you? It's in your brand's look and feel. You're giving the customer all the information they need about their delivery and more in sort of language that makes sense to them. You're giving them sort of information around perhaps things like returns, FAQs, the chance to give you feedback, but actually crucially, you're subtly remarketing yourself to that customer as well. You know, they've bought into you by placing that order. It's a great opportunity to sort of tell them more about your business and what you're doing and what campaigns you might have coming up in the future as well. To support that tracking page, you also have actual carrier communications that go to your customers across email and text message. And you can set those up for any delivery event in the journey. And so here we can see an example, and everything that's highlighting blue, we can manage and edit and change, so you can completely control the look and feel of these messages. But this is kind of an example of how you could communicate to your customer to tell them where their order is and when they're going to get it, on top of, you know, it's not just really about creating a label, putting a label on a box. There's a whole sort of piece around delivery experience management that matters to help your customers have the best experience when they've shopped with you as well. All of the data that powers these comms and the page will be fed back via Prime Horizon's integration to Blue Yonder. So you and your team will have everything you need to serve your customers in the platform as well. So you're in a better place to help, but also you're giving customers a better experience on the front foot as well. So yeah, that's just a bit of an overview of how we can help further than just creating labels. Cool. Okay, I'll pass back over now.
Thanks, Ash. I think everyone agree that's a great overview of how the nShift platform works, but then obviously linked back to, I suppose, the practicalities of looping that back with the WMS. And what I wanted to try and do is summarize the solution value in a one sort of short slide around, you know, what the power of having a fully integrated, connected WMS to a carrier management solution could do for you as a user or a customer. I think the first thing to look at is the seamless connectivity. So, you know, how do we streamline that, you know, pick, pack, ship, and then out to a platform to get it delivered? And obviously with the platform that nShift has and the access to, you know, in excess of 1,000 different carriers, I think that does get as close to seamless by definition as we can possibly make it. That's one element. And then as you move down the sort of value proposition, you look at the solution as itself. And one thing that we're big on here at Prime Horizon is looking at technology as an enabler. So how does it enable your business to either go and win more business themselves, or just you know, reduce cost, or just improve efficiency, I think is the word, across the board. And we feel that, you know, the coupling of nShift with a excellent Blue Yonder integration allows that scalability and really reduces the barriers to allow you to grow your business too. And then once you've coupled them all together and we're there, we joined up and we've got this seamless integration, I think the access to the what I'd call the added value elements of the nShift platform, as Ash has beautifully outlined, really gives the Pierre de la Resistance really over the top of it around some of those things that you might not think of in the delivery process. You know, the customization of having your branding, you know, over the top of things. And as a sales guy at heart, you know, I think those subtle reminders to a customer really allows you to take that customer from just being a potential one-time customer to taking them on a journey and being a brand ambassador in the future, all through a bit of what we might all think of simple, almost warehouse or fulfillment technology. We're actually enabling that on the customer journey, which I think is fantastic. Because a lot of businesses obviously use this technology in one form or another, whether that's Blue Yonder, whether that's nShift. A lot of people have WMSs and carriers, but if you can get them both working sort of, in a really perfect harmony, if you then throw in the extra added value that the nShift platform gives us, then I think we're onto a winning formula. I'll just hand over now to I think it's Ash to finish up. Oh, Mark, sorry.
Not a problem at all. So thank you guys. It was a great demo, great insight into what we're doing together, and what we're achieving together, and what we're enabling our mutual customers to achieve together. So we're now into the Q&A piece. Got a couple of questions that have come through whilst we've been talking, so we'll try and get through as many as we can. First one that I see has just come through, probably Dan, to you or Andy, is whether this integration is available also for Dispatcher. Would you mind just talking to that for a little bit?
So yeah, I'll chime in on this. Dan, feel free to jump in also. At the moment, we built it for BY WMS, but the Dispatcher topic is really, really interesting. So what we are waiting for is the 2025 release, which will have the inbound ESI functionality for Dispatcher, which will enable us to have that that two-way communication that we're really looking for here, because that's going to be an absolute game changer in the Dispatcher world. So it absolutely will be available in Dispatcher at the moment, and it will work in a very, very similar way with a similar capability. So everything you get in nShift that you saw today would absolutely be available in Dispatcher. Dan, anything to add on that?
No. Just highlighting the importance of Dispatcher customers getting to the 2025 version, because, as I say, as you say, I should say, it's a game changer with the ESI functionality, both inbound and outbound. It opens the world to a lot of these value add products that Dispatcher customers in the past would have had to go through maybe a very laborious custom integration or middleware or something like that to get it working. So I think ESI is going to change the game for Dispatcher customers.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Very well answered. Got another one actually here on the integration as well. Sorry, just reading it through here. Again, probably to Andy and Dan. How is the integration deployed? Are there any configurations that are required? And what does that sort of scoping process look like?
Yeah, good question. So typically we deploy this via a rollout mechanism. So basically we'll install the custom interface with you onto your system. And then what we do then is we will need to then set up the carriers and the service levels within Blue Yonder, which is a very straightforward piece of configuration to do. And then there's just an exercise to understand what information we need to send through that interface to nShift to service the carriers that you're intending on using. So going back to Ash's point, when you were adding new carriers on and off within nShift and enabling those, it's just understanding what feeds we need to supply those. So there's a very concise exercise to go through to talk that through, understand those requirements, and then switch on the relevant parts of integration to enable that data to flow into nShift.
Could I just add something on that, Andy, as well?
Yeah.
For the obviously the purposes of this webinar, in order to get a working demo up and running, I hope you'll agree, we've built almost like a skeleton or a straw man of this custom integration. So I'd like to add that a lot of the groundwork has been covered in the preparation for this demo, actually. So obviously there's unique elements for each instance and customer, but I think this webinar, if anything, has been a great success in terms of getting some of that groundwork done for the integration side of things.
Yeah, agreed.
Spot on.
Agreed.
I've got another question that's come through, actually. I think it's probably one from you, Ash.
Yeah.
Obviously, security is quite a hot topic at the moment. So it's how does the nShift platform handle the data privacy and security side of things for, a lot of elements, I imagine?
Yeah, no, it's an important topic. It comes up, very regularly with our customers when we're sort of looking at integrating with them, and it's something we take, very seriously at nShift. We go through a process every year to be fully audited and certified to ISO 27001, which is quite a lot of investment in time and budget to actually go through that process. But it allows us to, prove to our customers that we have been fully audited from a data perspective point of view and privacy point of view to make sure that we're, operating in the way that's needed to support these processes as well. But also in the platform, as a customer, you have various controls over your data as well. So we're only really processing data on behalf of the brand or the retailer who are the controller of the data. And you can set what time frame you'd like the customer's, say, delivery address information to be within the portal for your reporting purposes. We'll keep it in there as standard at 90 days, but you can determine if you want to have it shorter or longer. And you can even determine if you want to sort of keep that data in there indefinitely, but anonymize it. So you can always use it for reporting purposes, but yeah, you've removed sort of the address information of the customer as well. So yeah, it's an important topic, but I think one we've spent a lot of time and effort on.
Perfect, Ash. Just two more that just come in that we could probably ask together, I think, just with the time sort of running out. But for you, Ash, I would assume as well. What regions could nShift support? And could you just give a bit of an overview of the nShift pricing model as well?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we've got customers who are operating globally. As you saw, we've got 1,000 carriers that enables our customers to deliver to over 190 countries. We've got lots of large, well-known brands who are operating across UK, US, Europe, Asia, Australasia as well. And our support goes right from sort of a basic office hours support up to 24/7 support. And we also have like a team who are sort of always alerted to anything unusual on the platform in terms of carrier labels coming back slower than they expected to, and then we jump straight on that. So from a support perspective, yeah, we know we're used to dealing with customers operating at all different times of day throughout the year as well, including obviously things like Christmas, etc. The team is available for those individuals that have signed up to that for that particular year. Then when it comes to pricing, everything's is quite a straightforward way in which we price. It's all based on a number of shipments that you're going to create from Blue Yonder into nShift. So you would say nShift, okay, over these 12 months, we're going to create X number of shipments, and we will be able to provide you with a rate card or a tiered price, which gives you what it costs per shipment based on that overall volume. And of course, as volume increases, the unit cost can decrease as well. So that's kind of at a high level, obviously, but we can get into other nuances to help customers work in the ways in which they prefer as well.
Perfect. Good man. I think that is all the questions that have come in. And so with sort of 2 minutes left, this is fantastic timing on everyone's part. Well done. I just want to thank everyone for their attendance, their attention. This webinar will be available on demand after the webinar is concluded. But if you have any questions on anything you've seen, you want to find out some more information, please reach out to anyone that's been on the panel today, and we'll be happy to assist. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and hopefully speak to you all very, very soon. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.